December didn't have as many new releases as other months, but with a backlog and some surprises, there's always JRPG fun to be had. I reached a huge milestone with a certain game I'd been playing for multiple years, fell even more in love with my favorite game of last year, and was able to get hyped about a 2020 release I'm looking forward to, both with its main game in Japanese and some related smartphone content in English, so it obviously wasn't hard to fill December and the holidays with all the fun things that are already out. So while it already feels like we're well into January and the new year so far, let's take a look back on the JRPGs I played in December to complete this series for 2019. It's with great pleasure I'm able to put Persona 2 Innocence in as my final game of the month for 2019, as after what looks to be about 2 full years of playing it, I finally finished it. I cut it really fine in terms of finishing it by the end of the year. I was making progress with it by playing a little every day in the second half of December, hoping I could finish it organically, but its final dungeon ended up being quite big and had a lot of story, so I took December 30th as a day to dedicate to getting through it, and managed to finish it and blubber my way through its ending. The ending had a twist that really got me, and had me considering for the first time maybe trying the game that is the second part of the story at some point. I played the Innocent Sin game in the story, but I've learned in the past year thanks to comments that Persona 2 has a sequel and second half of its story called Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, and while I am Persona 2'd out right now, having played it for such an extended period of time, it is something I may try someday just to see the rest of its interesting story, especially since the game was with me for such a long time anyway. But until whenever I choose to do that, I'm glad Persona 2 Innocence Sin let me see where a modern JRPG series I love came from, and on top of that, I'm glad I can start the year with an empty spot in my backlog to fill with something new when I get the chance to as well. So while it's bittersweet seeing the end of Persona 2, I am overall glad I've finished it. Hopefully I'll get a chance to do a review at some point. I have drafted up some notes for it, but until then, while it's an older game with an older feeling, it does have that great Persona story feeling. Thanks to the positive changes I've made in my gaming time recently, that means I don't start anything new unless I truly have the time to see it through. I was able to put some time into Atelier Ryza at the start of last month when I had some downtime. I started a second playthrough one night while one of my videos was uploading, with the New Game Plus option so I could try the hardest difficulty, and it's proving to be a fun new way to experience the game as I take my time in this playthrough. The hardest difficulty itself isn't crazy if you finish Ryza before, as it mostly bloats enemy HP bars, gives them a few new skills, and gives your party less defense. So if you already know its system, you probably know how to adapt to those things with items as special moves. But it is a good way to play Ryza a second time, as it does make those first battles more interesting. In saying that, I hit a wall at the end of my time playing it, still at that first half of the game where you have to bring an item to Leela to prove your strength, as the enemy in the sunken mine that you have to fight to get it is killing me way harder than it ever did on my first playthrough in just one hit. So I don't know if I'll end up grinding or making items with resistances when I eventually try again, but I like that it's giving me a new challenge and something to work towards besides its story goals. Hopefully I'll get at least a little more time with it this month, as I'd really like to try the Atelier Claudia DLC. I got very excited for it when I watched the livestream reveal of it. However, time-wise it is unlikely, as I'm already playing some games for review and have some content in mind for the month, so I don't know where I'd fit it in. In any case, I'm glad I got to spend more relaxing, fun time with it in December in its fulfilling Atelier world that I truly love exploring, and I look forward to whenever the next time I get to play is. I played a little Persona 5 Royal in December, although not as much as I'd hoped, as I hit a few walls with it as well in terms of the language side of things. Since it's in Japanese, I tend to go slower in my play sessions anyway, but I had trouble with a section of the game language-wise that I also did the first time I played Persona 5 in Japanese, which was the point between the first save and the second one being very long and full of dialogue. While this is great for study, as there is a lot to read and learn from, it's no small task, at least for me, to look up all the words that I don't know between meeting Sojiro, the recount of past events, visiting Shujin High for the first time, and so on. So something that takes the average person person playing in their native language about 40 minutes ended up taking me about 4 hours with all that slow reading and word checking in between. While that sounds really long, and it is, I actually couldn't get through that part at all when I first played Persona 5 in Japanese, so I do take the fact that I was able to get through it as progress, and in those 4 hours, I was actually able to improve my study methods since now I'm allowing myself to keep going if I'm pretty sure I understand something through context, which makes things a little less tedious and hopefully faster next time. Like Atelier Ryza, I am hoping to get to Persona 5 Royal whenever I can, especially since I have a feeling I'll end up putting it down next month since Persona 5 Scramble is coming out in Japan, and I'm very interested in that, and since I want to be able to understand that game as much as possible, I'm glad I'm at least getting a little better at understanding Persona 5 Royal, even if it still takes me a while to do stuff. On the side, I've also been reading the Persona 5 manga before bed sometimes and having more success with it since it has furigana, which basically means it has the phonetic sounds above the kanji I don't know, so I can look it up much quicker. I'm hoping that that will give me some of the knowledge I'm missing so I can get through whatever Persona 5 related thing I play next smoothly. And in any case, I'm thankful for the way that this game has helped me improve my Japanese studies and given me a fun way to do so. December also had a first for the channel, which was my first sponsored video, and it also happened to be Persona 5 related. The game I played for the video was Another Eden and its Persona 5 Royal collaboration, and I'm pleased to say that its core game and the Persona event were surprisingly fun. I really appreciated how true to Persona 5 the collaboration was, with things like ripping masks off enemies, giving it the perfect amount of Persona 5 flair, and the story was a coming together of both groups of characters in an unlikely story that managed to bring out the good points of both. The actual story outside of the Persona event is interesting as well, with some time travel story points that have me wanting to learn more about it in its big story full of many chapters. So with both its Persona event and the core game, discovering the world of Another Eden was something I enjoyed doing on my phone. I do intend to come back to the event at some point, as this game has great ideals when it comes to limited time events and stamina bars, as it doesn't actually do those things. So I love knowing that I can come back to this event anytime to get my Morgana and Joka all maxed out and see the rest of the Persona side of things, and I'm looking forward to doing so sometime, as the event was a nice little reunion with my favorite Persona cast, and the core game was pretty fun as well. This is also one of the few games my older iPhone 5 can run, so I'll be keeping it on my phone for whenever I get the time or urge, and since my phone can't run my old favorite Dragalia Lost, I'm glad Another Eden can be there for those random times on the train I wish I had something to play. January has already been quite a busy month for me so far, since I'm already playing stuff for review that I'll be able to talk about soon, and it's also going to keep being a busy month as it's full of some of my most anticipated games for this year, so it's good to see the new year for JRPGs starting off with a bang. Upcoming releases I'm looking forward to this month are the Atelier Dusk Trilogy Deluxe Pack that will be out on the 14th, with 3 more Ateliers to play on modern consoles, which you all probably know I'm excited for, especially since the Dusk series is the best one to play after last year's Arlen pack that I enjoyed so much. Then on the 17th, there's Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE Encore, which is a Wii U game I'd always wanted to play, so I hope I get the time to play with this colorful looking idle world with Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem elements mixed in on Switch, as I love the look of it every time I see it. If all goes to plan, I should be able to play both of these new releases as long as I keep organized, and overall I feel like you can't go wrong with either of these re-releases, as they both look like worthwhile games. So whether I play one or both, I'm just happy to have something fun to look forward to playing. These 2 great releases make a total of 4 great looking games coming out and many hours of fun to be had in January. So I'm looking forward to starting off my own JRPG year well, and can't wait to talk about these games with you guys too. All in all, I hope everyone else enjoys what they choose to play this month too, in a great month that hopefully sets the tone for a great year of JRPGs. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you played in December and what you plan to play this month. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, and until next time, thank you, bye!